This is the Hagerman Fuzz. I'm going to tell you all about it in just a moment, but first, let's have a listen. As I stated in the intro, this is a modified version of the classic 2-transistor Fuzz Face. The pedal has a buffered tone control. It is true bypass. You also get 30 dB of max gain. The Fuzz also has a 50k ohm input impedance. Its frequency bandwidth is from 55 Hz to 8 kHz, which makes it ideal for both guitars and bass. You can run the Fuzz at either 9 volt or up to 15 volts at 2 milliamp of power. This pedal is part of the Black series, which is the affordable silicon pedals from Hagerman. Typically, Hagerman makes tube amps and tube pedals, but this was introduced at a lower cost without cheaping out on the quality of the pedal. So these pedals have no surface mount parts and are all hand-built by Jim Hagerman in Hawaii. And it retails for $119 USD. I get a lot of questions about whether certain pedals sound as good through the top boost as they do with the normal channel. I don't always include it in videos, but in this one I'm going to have a section, which is just coming up, where we're going to go through the top boost and the normal channel. I'm going to use the TC Electronic wiretap, record one performance. That way you're getting the exact same performance through both inputs of the AC15, and you can judge for yourself whether the Hagerman Fuzz sounds as good through both inputs. Personally, I like a Fuzz through a clean amp, but a lot of people prefer Fuzz going through a dirty amp. So I'm through the normal channel, through the cranked up AC15. this example, I'm going to be using the Hagerman Valve. It is driven by a 12AU7. It is also part of the Black series. And I'm going to be adding it last in the chain. I'm going to put a bit of dirt in the signal, and then I'm going to send the Hagerman to this pedal and just try to build a bit more character from the fuzz. Now, if you use a wah, what are you supposed to do if you have a buffer in your wah? You put it before your fuzz, do you put it after your fuzz? Now, traditionally, a lot of people will put their buffered wah pedal after the fuzz, but you're gonna get a very different sweep from that pedal. I prefer to put this guy first in line before all the other pedals, including a fuzz most of the time. That's why a lot of times I prefer playing a silicone fuzz as opposed to a germanium if I'm going to be using wah. But obviously with this pedal, it's not going to be an issue, so I'm going to be able to rock the Carl Martin 2 wah right before the Hagerman fuzz. This next example is not about trying to find issues or correct issues or anything. I just want to have fun and plug a Univibe style pedal right in front of the Hagerman and try to go for some classic bluesy Jimi Hendrix type tones. Buffers and most fuzzes don't play well together. Part of it has to do with the fact that the fuzz is conceived in a certain way that if you put a buffer in front of it, you change the impedance that the pedal is expecting to get, and it makes it sound kind of wonky. If you haven't heard that before, here is an example. Now the fuzz you just heard has nothing wrong with it. It's a typical Fuzz Face style pedal. It's actually one of my favorite fuzzes from Northern Effects. It's called the Secret Face. Now there's nothing wrong with that pedal. That's how most traditional fuzzes will react to a buffer being placed in front of it. With Jim, what he did with the Hagerman Fuzz is that he made it so, by looking at the design of this circuit and improving upon it, he made it so that you can put that pedal anywhere you want in the chain, and you can put whatever pedal you want in the front of it. So with the exact same example I just gave you, I was using a vintage Boss CE2 chorus. I'm going to use the exact same pedal, and let's go see if the same thing happens with the Hagerman Fuzz. Another common issue with a fuzz is using a guitar that has a treble bleed circuit. Most of my guitars have them, but I'm very fortunate for this demonstration to have not modded my Gibson SG quite yet. So I'm going to be using the Gibson SG, which has a modern type circuit in it, and then I'm going to use one of my guitars that has a treble bleed. Essentially what you're going to be hearing is that with a treble bleed, that sweep when you clean up the volume is very, very small, and the sound is very bright and spiky. If you use a guitar that has a modern circuit in it, when you roll off the volume, it cleans up in a more linear way, and it doesn't sound as bright and piercing. If you're using a traditional fuzz, that might be an issue, but with the Hagerman, it's not an issue. Now, if you enjoyed this video, there are plenty more like it in the series. Just click on one of the videos appearing on screen now, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers.